Is it stuck, sir? Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Punaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat-padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyaptadehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. So the topic today is the essence of Karma Yoga. See, Karma Yoga appears in Srimad-Bhagavata, which is by Lord Krishna, which is a song sung by Lord Krishna in the midst of the battlefield to Arjuna. As they say, that it is very famously said that if you learn Bhagavad-Gita, Bhagavad-Gita Sugita Kartavya, if you learn it very well, if you understand Bhagavad-Gita well, then there is nothing much remains for you to Kimanya Shastra Vistari. You need not know much. If you know this, then you know the art of living, because it is a manual for life. It contains both the knowledge of the self plus the way leading to the knowledge of the self. So it is a whole package where you get the knowledge also, the knowledge about the destination of life, plus the way, the path leading to that. So knowledge is Brahma Vidya, knowledge of the self, knowledge about what the reality is. What is the fundamental reality? Reality of myself, of yours, as well as the creation, even of Ishvara. There is one reality in and through everyone. What is that reality? What is the nature of that reality? We should know that. As well as it is important to know as to what is the means for gaining this knowledge. So Karma Yoga is a means to gain the knowledge of the self, but means not a direct means, but an indirect means for the knowledge of the self. See, to give you some idea about the background of Bhagavad-Gita, the backdrop in which this knowledge was imparted to Arjuna, to give you some idea. I am sure everybody knows, but still it will be nice to have some words. As you already know, I am sure, that the battle is already arrayed. Both the armies, Kauravas as well as Pandavas, are there on the battlefield called Kurukshetra, and the war is imminent. At that time, what happened? Arjuna also came in the battlefield along with his charioteer, Lord Krishna. And then he even ordered, his charioteer, Lord Krishna, to put his chariot in between the two armies. so that he could clearly view the armies and the generals and where who is standing. In a way, he wanted to decide his strategy and he wanted to see everything. So he asked Lord Krishna, Sena yoho ubayoho madhye ratham sthapaya mechyutaho achyuta. Please place my chariot in between the two armies. And Lord Krishna did as he was told. And then, having placed the chariot, he told Arjuna, now you see the Kurus, the Kauravas. Actually, Pandavas were also Kauravas because they were cousins. So it was the clan of Kauravas. So he says, now you watch the Kurus that have gathered here. What does Lord? Very meaningful. He deliberately uttered the word Kurus. He says, O Arjuna, may you now look at the Kurus who have gathered here. And this word, perhaps this word changed the mindset of Arjuna. He who had come to fight, all ready to fight, all motivated to fight, because this was the war between adharma, that is unrighteousness, and dharma, which means righteousness. It was war between these two. So in every way, Arjuna wanted to protect dharma, and it was that kind of war. But still, Lord Krishna used this word, that may you look at the Kurus. Now this word evoked the family member from Arjuna. He who was a fighter, he who was a warrior, who has come in the battlefield, you are a warrior. But when this word was uttered, perhaps some other thing got aroused. And now Arjuna, instead of looking at the enemies, Kauravas are now his enemies, they have always been his enemies. Instead of seeing in them the enemies, he is now seeing them as brothers. He is now looking at his family members. And then he became very emotional. Krupaya paraya vishtaha. He was totally overwhelmed by emotion and attachment towards his family. And then he now began to tremble. In fact, his weapons, his bow and arrow dropped from his hand. He had horripilations. He started trembling. His mouth and everything went dry. And his tears also started coming from his eyes. And he tells Lord Krishna, why should we fight this war? There is no point in fighting this war. Let them have the kingdom. I don't want to involve myself in this violence. By killing our own near and dear ones, what are we going to get out of this? Now see, all this was there in the beginning too. All this, he knew very well what this war was and with whom it was being fought. It is not that he didn't know all this before coming to the battlefield. He very well knew this. But till then he knew that he has to fight it. Pandavas have to fight for their right. Because Duryodhana, the leader of Kauravas, was in no way going to relent. He was not even ready to give them 5 houses, even 1 house, not to talk of the kingdom which rightfully belonged to Pandavas. But he was not ready. And so many attempts, so many things went. At the end, Lord Krishna also went as an ambassador of peace to avoid the war. Nothing had worked. See, nothing, absolutely nothing had worked. All this Arjuna knew very well. But now, suddenly we have to understand that now he is altogether in a different mood. He is reading the situation totally in a different way. Actually, he was deluded. Now moha, that is delusion, has overtaken his mind. And when that happens, your perception of the circumstance or the situation will totally be wrong. Because you are already colored by something. Moha, that is delusion, has overtaken him. So what is to be done, what he is supposed to do, he thinks it is all wrong. He thinks he should not be doing that. And he gave a long lecture to Lord Krishna. Made, many arguments against not fighting justifying his understanding at the moment about not fighting the war. And lastly, he said, Na yotsye, I am not going to fight. And he sat down right there. And then Lord Krishna says, what has overtaken you? This doesn't suit you. This is not at all becoming of you. You are a warrior. You know why this war is being fought. This doesn't become you at all. But still, nothing changes. And then now Arjuna said, now altogether a different kind of thinking is triggered in Arjuna's mind. Altogether different kind of thinking, which so far he had never thought of. So far, all the Pandavas were in the forest for 13 years, but never this kind of thinking had happened in Arjuna. Today he says all of a suddenly that, oh Krishna, oh Achyuta, what will I get out of this kingdom? Even if I get the kingdom, even if I get unrivaled kingdom of the three worlds, I don't see how it will satisfy me, how it will remove the sorrow in my heart. I don't see any way that my grief which has overtaken me, I don't see any end to this grief no matter what I get. See, Arjuna for the first time is thinking in this manner. He is not doing, but it happens to him. For the first time in his life, he could see the limitations of what this world can offer. For the first time, so far it never occurred to him. He was a very accomplished person. Arjuna was very famous and everybody knew him as the best warrior, best archer. So he had everything. But still today he says that I don't see how this world and the achievements of the world, the wealth of the world, the name and fame and power and whatever the world can offer can ever satisfy me. There is vacuum, there is inadequacy at the core, and nothing but nothing of the outside world can ever fill that up. He saw this, which means he is developing that renunciation, that he is getting into that mood of renouncing everything. He almost said it to Krishna, Na kangshe vijayam Krishna, na cha rajyam bhogas sukhani cha. He says, I no more want this kingdom, this kingdom, or even to live. I don't wish to live also. Suddenly he has developed this dispassion towards everything. And he felt that, see what a time has come in my life, that today I cannot even decide that whether I should fight or not. Because of this situational problem, the situational or the topical problem was whether to fight or not. Arjuna says, I can't decide in this also. Plus, now I see that so far I have not made use of my life. He says this, that so far I have not really made use of my life. My life has gone in vain. I never used my intellect. He uses the word krupanata, karpanya dosho pahata svabhavaha, which means he says that so far I have been miserly in using my intellect. He says that, which means what? That I didn't utilize my intellect for knowing the truth, for knowing the reality, for deliberating upon things like that. I was just living my life, running after things, running after material things, and achieving things. That is how I used my intellect. And today I see that with that progress, I have not got anything. I got all of that, but I am nowhere. And he feels so depressed. He got so frustrated that my life is just gone like that. What have I done? What have I achieved? Nothing worthwhile has been achieved. I am today totally empty. And he was so pained by that he declared and surrendered before Lord Krishna and said, please now give me that, talk to me about, teach me about that which is absolutely good, which is the definite thing in life, Nishreyas. He says, teach me that which will give me what I want, what my heart craves for, and that which will definitely be good. Everything in this world is transitory. Everything is bound by time, space and limitations. I don't want that anymore. That has not taken me anywhere. Now what I desire and what I want is that which is absolutely good, having gained which nothing more remains to be gained in life. Your cup is full. Having known which, nothing more remains to be known in life. Having reached where, nothing more remains to be gained. That is what I want, in which I don't have to pay any price. For worldly things, I am paying a big price. And for that, I will be not losing anything. Bas, I want that. And he says, please tell me that. I surrender unto you. I become your student. He knows how to ask, that also he knows. He says, I am your student. I declare myself as your disciple. Shishyasteham. I am your student. I am your disciple. Shadi Mam, please teach me. See, what a situation. What a transformation in Arjuna. Can you imagine? He who came as a fighter, he who came to fight, he who came as a warrior. Understand, all this is going on where? In the battlefield. In Kurukshetra, when both the armies are now ready. At that time, Arjuna is saying all this to Lord Krishna. And he says, I am not interested in fighting. He was not ready to even get up. And he said, please teach me. I am your student. I surrender unto you. So, there is transformation in Arjuna from a warrior to a seeker. He has now become a seeker of truth. He has become a mumukshu. More than mumukshu. We all are mumukshus. We all want happiness. But we don't know where it really is. When we get some insight, some inkling that it doesn't seem to be out there. It doesn't seem to be in the things, in the possessions, in name, fame, power, objects, where I constantly look for it. It doesn't seem to be there. It is somewhere else. There is something about it which I don't know. When you have this kind of insight, the person changes into a jignasu, which means now he wants to know. He wants to know the definite thing. What is the definite thing? What is that ultimate truth? That is what I want to know. And the astonishing thing is, the surprising thing is, that even Lord Krishna did not say that plus first fight, first finish this war, then we will talk about it. Afterwards we will talk about this. He didn't say. He in fact straight away, right away, began with that teaching. He could have said, no, finish this war first. We have come here to fight. This is not a lecture hall. This is not a lecture hall. This is not our Yagnishala where we talk about all this and do, this is a battlefield. Everybody is watching us. Armies are already there. And you are asking if you want me to tell you all this knowledge? He didn't say this. There is a big thing in this. Why? Because this is the most important thing in life. When this question arises, when this need arises, what is the truth? Who am I? When person wants to know this, then Ishvara doesn't wait for anything. He is all there, eager to teach us this, to somehow give us this knowledge. There is provision in this creation. Understand that when this desire arises, desire to know the truth, desire to know the reality, then somehow, from somewhere, some miracles happen. Miracles means, otherwise how can we understand that Lord Krishna gave these teachings in the battlefield? He did not wait. He did not postpone. He said, okay, fine, because this is the right time. The time perhaps for which I was waiting. I was waiting for you to ask me this. And today, when you have prayed for this, when you are desiring this, then I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Actually, when you live a life according to dharma, when your life is based upon righteousness and values and prayers and helping and sharing, when dharma, ethics are there in your life, dharma is there in your life, then this kind of time does appear. This is culmination. This kind of questions, this kind of seeking is culmination of life lived according to dharma. Life lived according to the moral and ethical order. Then you become pure. Then this jignasa arises. All the Upanishads uniformly say the same thing. Tametam vedanu Brahmanaha vividashim. With their Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says that this kind of questions arises when there is yajna in life, tapaha in life, means dharma is there in life. Then this question arises. And when it arises, you should get this knowledge. It comes to you. And so he was very pleased. Lord Krishna was in fact very pleased with Arjuna when he asked this. And as I said, he straight away, with a bang, he began the teachings of Bhagavad-Gita. And Lord Krishna could see that the fundamental problem is ignorance of the knowledge of the self. See, knowledge of the self, which is our reality. Self is our reality. Atma, call it Atma, call it Ishvara, call it Brahman, whatever. That is the reality. And when I don't know who I am really, because there are notions about our own self, we take ourselves to be this person, this personality. I am an individual. That is what I think. And this personality, this person, this individual is limited, is confined to the, I think that I am confined to the body. I am confined to this complex consisting of body, vital air, sense organs, mind, intellect. I think I am that. And this body, this complex, this limited individual is limited in every way. But what is the reality? Reality is totally different from this. I am not this which I take myself to be. I am not this body. I am not this vital air, this mind, not that. Reality about me, means everyone, is different. Not knowing this is not knowing anything. When you don't know this, our life is messed up. And sooner or later, ignorance of this catches up with us. We think that, how does it matter that we don't have this knowledge? What does it matter? Our life is going on, we are earning, we have our own life, we have children, we live very well, we are wealthy, we are this, we are that. What is the place of this knowledge in our life? What role does this knowledge play in our life? We merrily go along with our life. This is not needed. We think so. We think so. Even Arjuna might have thought like that. So far, up to this point, it never occurred to him to ask this kind of questions to Lord Krishna. Otherwise, his friend Lord Krishna was always with him. They were bosom friends. They were very good, intimate friends. Lord Krishna was always with Pandavas in all their tribulations, and in all, he was always with them. But understand this, so far none of the Pandavas, not Arjuna, never asked this. And they made different kind of use of Ishvara. But today he is asking this. And Lord Krishna says, you are not what you take yourself to be. You take yourself to be this body. And you take others also to be individuals in body. Means a complex. And that is subject to birth, subject to death. And between birth and death also, a jiva, an individual, passes through, goes through many changes, many stages. You are born at a certain time, body comes into existence at a certain time. Prior to that, it was not there. Comes into existence, passes through different stages: infancy, childhood, adolescence, youth, middle age, old age, and then what? Death. And after that, I am not there. Then again I will be born. Then again go through this. We think that ignorance means I am subject to coming and going, and subject to all the changes which happen in between birth and death. I am a doer, and I am also the object of things done to me. See, this is what we think, that I do, and I am also the recipient of what you do to me. Understood what I am saying? So Arjuna had this complex that I will be the killer. I will be the killer, the slayer of all my people. And they will be dying, or they will be the object, the victim of my actions. He didn't want that. Which means, Lord Krishna says, you are entertaining the notion that you are the killer, you are the doer, and others will be the object of this. Both these are your notions. Atma is not a doer. Atma means the self is not a doer, plus not also the enjoyer. Which means, see, I will show you. This hand is doing this. So this one becomes the doer, and this one becomes the object of what is being done. Lord Krishna says that the self doesn't do anything, plus doesn't become the object of something done to that. Which means what? Which means what? That self doesn't do anything and nothing ever happens to it. It is always complete. It is all full. It is all pervasive. Not confined to the boundaries of one body. It is everywhere and it is one. It is just one. Bodies are different. It is like, the costumes are different, but the actor is one. All these things, like I will tell you, in all of you, the Atma is one. In all of us, not you, all of us, the self is one. And bodies are different. Atma is one. This is altogether different from what we think about ourselves. You see, this is what even Arjuna thought. And so naturally, he was grieved. He was grieving at the very thought of losing his people, that he will be separated from his people. This separation, we are all together today, and tomorrow my people will not remain, and I will be responsible for that. Lord Krishna says all this is happening at a certain level, at the level of the body, not at the level of the reality, not at the level of the reality. And Arjuna, you don't know this. Your grief is totally out of place. You are grieving for something which doesn't deserve to be grieved for. This was too much for Arjuna. This knowledge was a high dose. High dose. All of a sudden he is being told this. Naturally he liked to hear this, that everywhere there is just one reality, one Ishvara. In fact, Ishvara is also not different from me. God is not different from me. Mine and your body is different. The body is here, body is there. But where is Atma? Where is the self? What is the boundary of the self? Tell me. From what we have discussed so far, I know it is difficult, but from whatever little you understood, I'm sure you understood. What is the boundary?
Infinite.
There is no boundary. Just as space, there is distance between me and the sun and moon in the space. But what is the difference? What is the distance in the space? Within space is everything. See, this body is also in the space. Sun, moon, constellations, planets, the entire universe is in the space. In space is everything. Something like that. I'm giving the example of space because space is very subtle. Space is very pervasive. The self, the fundamental reality, the reality, which is not different from me, which is my reality, everybody's reality, is even subtler and more pervasive even than space. Got it? So that is the reality. Arjuna, not knowing all this, you are talking about getting separated and you being a killer and others being killed. Your teacher will go away, your grandfather will go away, and we will be separated. He says, oh Arjuna, please understand, nobody is ever born. Atma is not born. All this knowledge is given. Arjuna liked, he enjoyed it. Means it was all, revelation for him. But it was difficult to grasp this, difficult to understand this, difficult to even retain this, not easy. So what? Lord Krishna then talks about Karma Yoga. Because this knowledge is not easy to grasp, as well as to understand, as well as to retain it. You require a subtle mind. A mind has to be prepared. Mind has to be subtle and sharp and purified to be able to grasp this knowledge. And so he began with the knowledge of Karma Yoga. Understood? What is the place of Karma Yoga? To prepare oneself or prepare others for this knowledge, the knowledge of the self. And so he talked about Karma Yoga. What is that? Karma Yoga is nothing but preparing the mind for this knowledge, for the knowledge of the self. You live a certain lifestyle with a certain attitude. Then a time comes that you are ready for this knowledge. So knowledge of the self in practice, in action is Karma Yoga. Understood? Knowledge of this, we'll talk about that. Knowledge of the self, Atma, the reality, bringing it into our life, in day-to-day life, every minute is nothing but Karma Yoga. And why did he choose karma? Karma Yoga means, at yoga, see, the word yoga is in the sense of joining, You join to this knowledge, you align yourself with this knowledge with the help of what? With the help of action, with the help of karma. That is Karma Yoga. And when should we join with this? Always. Because, now understand, see, Lord Krishna is very, very pragmatic, very, very practical. He gives us the tool which is there in our life always. Action, karma, is there in our life. In our life there is from morning to evening, action is there. So why not use that itself to transform ourselves, to prepare ourselves? Why not use that? That is why he gave this means, Karma Yoga. Now, Karma Yoga is to be understood with reference to performance of action. When we perform action, that time also we join with the truth, we join with Ishvara. Plus, when you perform actions, you come across the results. When action is performed, you get the results. Result is always there along with the action. So, even when the phalam, even when the results come, you join with what? Join with Ishvara. Join with knowledge. That is how, in both the stages, while performing, while receiving, who are you aligned with? What are you aligning yourself with? Knowledge, with Ishvara. And that is how slowly you prepare yourself for the knowledge. Because knowledge is not that easy. Atma is everywhere. Everything is nothing but Ishvara. But we don't have that subtlety to understand this. Today, it just bypasses us. We have no idea of that. So, we need that mind. Let me tell you, for any knowledge, whether it is of medicine, whether it is of astrology, whether it is of engineering, you require a certain mind. Without preparation, you can't go to a medical college, can you? Nobody will give me admission into that. You require certain subjects, certain preparation, then and then you will understand. Some kind of eligibility is required for any branch of knowledge, more so in the case of the knowledge of the self, the knowledge of reality. And so there is no escape to, no choice in this, to preparing oneself for knowledge. Arjuna was of the opinion that I will become a renunciate. Now I am no more interested in kingdom, in all such things, in material things I am not interested. So let me become a renunciate. Sit in a corner and meditate all the time. Lord Krishna says, wait a minute, you will not be able to do that. He had different idea. He said, you may desire that, you may want that, but you will not be able to do that. Unless and until you prepare to sit and meditate is not easy. To sit and think of the self is not easy. The world will come in your mind. That is what you are accustomed to. All of a sudden, all this will not go away. So, the first stage of life is what? Karma Yoga, which prepares you, and then you can easily glide into the second stage, which is what? Knowledge. But for that deliberate application is required. And what is that? As I said, Karma Yoga. We have two, Lord Krishna in Bhagavad-Gita gives two very beautiful definitions for Karma Yoga. As I said, it has two parts. While performing, also action is there. That time also you join. While receiving the result also you join. So what is the definition while performing action? Lord Krishna says, Yogaha karmasu kaushalam. What is Karma Yoga? That while performing karma, you use that very karma to elevate yourself, to purify yourself. For that a paradigm shift is required. For that we need to transform ourselves. We'll see that. And while receiving the result, also change the attitude, change the bent of mind, change your orientation. What is that? When the result comes, what is the definition for that? Samatvam yoga uchyate. What is yoga? Samatvam. Samatvam means in all kinds of circumstances, whether success, whether failure, whether respect, whether insult, whatever is there before you, how do you take it? With sameness of mind, with equipoise of mind. Everything is fine. For that, he uses the word prasada. Take it as coming from Ishvara. Whatever Ishvara, God, has decided to give me is fine for me. I have no problems with that. And so, mind remains unruffled. Mind remains undisturbed, like a lighthouse in the midst of the ocean. Totally undisturbed. And so, the mind is all the time glued with what? The reality. With it. You do it, practice it. So, practicing knowledge in life is nothing but Karma Yoga. Now you see, Lord Krishna says, for this there has to be a change in you. So far, what has been important for you is this individual. I and me, I and mine. For me, what is important is myself, my benefit, my self-interest, and at the most, my people. That is what our life is. Now we cannot continue with that. Why? Because what is your understanding? The knowledge is that you are the self, you are the reality. So, you have to now shift from being an individual to every time understanding that there is nothing but Ishvara. So, every time offer yourself. Every time keep aside, push back the individual in you. The pressure, the demands of the ego are there every time. What about me? When I do anything, what about me? What will I get? We always ask, what will I get out of this? Only if we are going to get something, only if it is going to help us, benefit us, then only we will do. Arjuna was also same thing, no? He said, now I don't want any kingdom, so I won't fight. What do you mean by that? Just because you don't want, that doesn't mean you don't have to fight. You fight for the establishment of dharma, for protecting people. Karma has a wider scope. It should not be confined only to self-interest. So deliberately, now the understanding is, now work or perform your actions from the platform of what? Everything is nothing but one reality, one Ishvara. See, I will give you the example of the body, of this body. In this body, everything is different. All the limbs are different. The functions of all the limbs and organs is different. But yet it is one thing. It is one unit, one body. Similarly, look upon the entire creation as what? One Ishvara, entire creation. And now you are part of it. Just as hands do not work for itself, it is working for the entire body. Legs do not walk for themselves, they work for the entire body. Mouth doesn't eat for itself. Whatever we eat, mouth doesn't keep it here. Distributes. Similarly, now Lord Krishna gives us this new vision. Now you are a part of this creation, member of this creation, which is one thing. This macrocosm is one. So far, because of ignorance, our life, our perception was different. Our life, was around only me and mine and my benefits. Now shift from that. The knowledge is already given to you. Brahma Vidya, the knowledge of the reality is given, which is what? That everything is one and you are full. You don't need anything. So now perform your actions all right, but with the attitude of offering, with the attitude of giving. So far you did for taking, so far you did for grabbing, so far out of personal demands I was working. Now take whatever little you need. Don't deny yourself that, but rest of it distribute. Why? Because you are part of this. No more different from this. This is how bring that Ishvara in your life. This is how bring that truth in your life. Today the words that everything is one are just words. Whereas they have to become reality. And so when I look at others, then I should feel for them that it is one thing. And for that you need not do big things. Now Krishna says this entire creation, in the creation, one cosmic wheel is running for the benefit of the entire, each and every part of the universe, element of the universe, particle of the universe are constantly working. Working for what? For others. Totally, if sun is constantly shining, for what? To give light to others. Like that, when you look at the nature, trees and mountains and rivers and earth and air and fire, water, constantly they are offering themselves for the benefit of the universe. Everything is just one. And things are going on very well. Why? Because there the spirit of offering, yajna, it is called yajna, spirit of offering, spirit of giving, spirit of contribution is there. Only human being seems to be an exception to this. He doesn't give. He always thinks of himself. We have to now get rid of this smallness. Get rid of this separatedness, that I am different from the world and I only work for myself. No. Whichever place is assigned to you by Ishvara in this life, everybody has an assigned place. Somebody is mother, woman, then wife, and so many roles a person plays at a time. So many roles. A woman is a, what shall we say, wife to the husband, mother to her children, mother-in-law to her daughter-in-law. So many roles she is playing. In all these roles, now what should be important to you? How should you function? With the attitude of offering. That I am here, I am given this place, this privilege rather, to give, not to grab. I perform my role very well, to the best of my capacities, with all sincerity. And what is now my motto, what is now the goal, that I will now serve. I will now give my best. Why? To see the Ishvara there. Nothing, everything is nothing but one reality, nothing but Ishvara. Let me see that. When I look at others, when I do something for others, bring Ishvara there. Not because I want something, but because this is an opportunity given to me to serve. And everybody gets this opportunity because everybody is playing different roles in life. Use that place to serve. That is why Lord Krishna says, Karmani evate, your right is in action. Means what? It is a privilege given. Action is a big privilege. Rest of the nature doesn't have that. It is only human being who decides. So do that. And so far, nature has been giving to you. As we discussed in the morning, that when we came in this world, we just came with nothing. Barehanded, and just like that we came. We did not have anything. Everything was provided. Everything was given, constantly given. Parents took care of us, teachers, elders, our relatives, neighborhood, society, government, nature, constantly they were giving. We didn't pay for water, we didn't pay for light. Sunlight is given free to us, water is given free to us, everything is given free by Ishvara. So Lord Krishna, I am doing my work. As Ishvara, I am playing my role of constantly giving, running this creation. So now you also become a cog in this wheel. You also help me running this creation. Which means what? You also join this spirit of yajna or of giving which is going on. This whole universe is working in that spirit. You also join. Which means what? From a taker, from a consumer, become what? Contributor. That is the transformation in life. Big change. Not easy. To part with something which I consider as mine. No, I won't give. Because I think I'll be less by that. But now we have to understand that I'm already fine. This is my reality. My nature is fullness, adequacy, limitlessness. I'm already there. I have to own it up. And how will I own it up? Because today the tendency of the mind is what? Where is every time grabbing? Mind has become very narrow. And that is the impurity. That is the obstacle. Which is, really obstructing the fullness of the self from manifesting. The fullness which is already there. Happiness which is already there doesn't manifest today. Doesn't express. And we demand that happiness from the world. We want it from the world. Please give me something. Please give respect to me. Please love me. We want it from the world. Knowingly, unknowingly. Overtly, covertly, we demand this from the world. Please love me. Please give me this. Please consider me. Lord Krishna says, you need not. You are already fine. Come back to that. Own it up by changing your attitude. All of a sudden, you will not be able to claim and settle in your fullness. It won't happen overnight. It will have to be deliberately done every time. When you are performing your action, when you are doing your duty, what have you got to remind yourself? This is for others. By this, I am going to serve others. So far, my enjoyment was coming when I was getting something. Now I derive happiness from what? By giving. Don't wait for the result to come, but in the very doing, in the very performance of my duties as mother, as wife, or whatever, husband, whatever. You need not do big things. You need not go out and do volunteer. You don't do that. If you want to do, you can. But otherwise, whatever you are supposed to be doing in life, in the roles which you are playing, do them very well. With the attitude that I want to give something. I want to offer something. Here I am not to demand, but to give. See, this will change everything. This change is required. And when we keep on doing it day in and day out, what will happen? My mind will change. Mind will not, miracles don't happen. Mind overnight doesn't change. It will have to practice this in life, every moment. And then, after a certain time, mind will become pure. Why? Because now I don't give importance to what I like and what I dislike. This person I don't like, so I don't look at him. This person I like, so I embrace. I do for you, I don't do it for you. Likes and dislikes, strong likes and dislikes, insistences, demands, preferences we have for certain things and not for certain things. We avoid certain things. Why? Because we don't like it. I don't like it. I hate it. I hate doing for him, but I love doing for this one. No. If you do what is becoming of you in your this role, this is the place you enjoy, this is the place that Ishvara has given you. In that, remove these likes and don't allow them to block you. Don't allow them to block your energy, block your happiness, block your love. Let it flow. Let it go. Slowly but surely, mind is becoming pure. Is becoming quiet, in fact. Because no more am I goaded by what? Likes and dislike. Pleasant, unpleasant, love, hatred. I'm fine. Samatva. See, when I perform my action, there is this sameness. I have to give the best. I have to give the best. May Ishvara in front of me, whoever they may be, whoever he or she is there before me, for whom I am working, Lord Krishna says he is nothing but Ishvara. May that Ishvara be pleased by my action. When sometimes some great people come to us, then we are very happy to do something for them. The same attitude is to be extended to everyone. Then what happens? My mind now is becoming free, is becoming lighter and lighter. Why? Because the heaviness of likes and dislikes and jealousy and competition and all that is going away. All that is dropping. Every time I don't give importance to that, then it goes. It gets neutralized. It gets nullified. And everybody is pleased with me. Who doesn't like to receive when you give their best? So in the process of giving, you get the joy. When I'm doing for others happily, not obliging them, not with a patronizing attitude, I'm doing for you. You don't know? I'm doing it for you. You don't know that? Did not mention it that way. Then he may say, don't do it. We may get that kind of response. He or she may say, don't do it in that case. You are not obliging me. We don't have to say all this. Just do it. By that, actually, I am helping myself. I am actually helping myself. So, no external force, but because I want to do and feel good. This is the real method of feeling good. Otherwise, only when somebody brings gifts for us, gives us something, then we will feel good. Praise us, eulogize us, put us on the pedestal, then we feel good. Otherwise, we are not feeling good. You never express your feelings for me. No. Now the joy comes in the very gesture of giving, gesture of doing. Things of this sort now gives me joy. What is happening, mind is becoming free of all the impurities while doing. Understood? Now we come to the other thing. What is that other thing? Other part? Tell me. Action has two facets. Which are they? Which are they? We have discussed one. Which is that? While acting, while performing action, what should be the attitude? What should be the attitude? Offering, giving respect, giving love, caring, sharing. This is what now governs me when I am performing action. I am not shirking my duty, not running away. Otherwise, when something is given to me, I am not going to do it. I have no time. Why should I do it? Give it to others. You always find me only to do all these things. Now, I don't do that. Okay, it has come my way. In fact, Ishvara chose me to do this. Like Hanuman, have you seen the pose of Hanuman? He's always ready. The way he sits. What does it show? I'm ready to take orders from Rama. Whatever he says, I'm going to do it. I'm doing it for him. He always wants to please Lord Rama. So he's always ready to serve him. We have to see Rama everywhere. We have to see him everywhere in this creation. So this is one part we discussed. But now which facet will come? Now when I receive the result, when I perform actions, the result is bound to come. Now results, as we discussed in the morning, results don't come as per my expectations. I don't govern the results. Phala, result is decided by Ishvara. He is the giver of the results. Actions are done by me and the results come in keeping with the laws made by Ishvara. In keeping with the laws of Ishvara. So now, when the result comes, now I don't brand them, look upon them as success or as failure or good, bad, no, pleasant, unpleasant, favorable, unfavorable, no such thing. Samatva. How do I look upon the result? As coming from Ishvara. You see, in Indian culture, when we offer something to Ishvara, when we offer something in temple, then they give it back to us. But now, now I look upon that object not as object, but as what? As coming from Ishvara, as prasad. And prasada means it has touched Ishvara. It is something, full of sanctity. That is how now I look upon the circumstances of my life. The situations that occur every moment. What is my attitude? Fine, coming from Ishvara. I don't see how it is, but it has come from Ishvara. Not what, not how, but what. What has come? What has come has come from Ishvara. So what happens, earlier, whenever the result came, either I would like it, if it was as per my expectations, I would like it and jump with joy. And if it was totally against and totally different from my expectations, then I would sit and grumble or lose my mood and even think, even feel, that Ishvara has been unfair to me. There is injustice in this world. No justice. Ishvara also is partial. Things are not happening the way I want. This also disturbs me. Disturbs like anything. The main cause of sadness sometimes is this, that fairness is not meted out to me. Life has been unfair. Parents have been unfair. My spouse is unfair. My Ishvara has been unfair to me. People have been unfair to me. And then we react. Then we also fight tit for tat. Our life goes away in all this, in fighting. Whereas, now what is the attitude? Whatever has come is fine. Because, go back to that reality. What is the reality of the self? It is fine. It is full. This result, this small result, cannot add to me, cannot take away anything from. I am already that self. Plus, maybe this has come to teach me something. So when we don't react with sorrow or elation, then we learn something. Learning only non-reacting mind, stable mind can learn something. But if we dance to the tune of the situations, we don't learn anything. We are not learning, because either we cry, either we sink in sorrow or depression or elation. All these are reactions. All these are reactions of this mind doesn't learn anything. For the knowledge of the self, for understanding the reality, mind has to be stable. Mind has to be composed and learning, absorbing every moment. Every moment you have to see Ishvara, the play of Ishvara, the play of the reality. Here, there, everywhere. How can that happen when I am enmeshed in the situation? Why did this happen with me? Why did this happen? I don't like it. I will fight back. I will do this, I will do that. There is no end to this reaction. So what is now our attitude? Everything is fine. I am fine. What is happening in my life is also fine. Let me learn. If I need to bring about a change, do that. I am ready to learn. And I have faith in this reality, that it is there, I am that. And I'm getting the grasp of that. This is what Karma Yoga is. How karma, how action, which is prevalent in our life, changes us. Which merely by sitting in a corner and thinking that I'll be able to imbibe the knowledge of the self, I won't do anything but study, it won't happen. Why? Because for studying, for the study of the knowledge of the self also, you require this kind of mind. When this mind is not there, you may be sitting in a corner and wanting to study and wanting to meditate, but you will do anything but that. You will not be able to do. Not easy. Not easy to have a quiet, receiving, non-reacting, peaceful, poised, pure mind. This is the biggest wealth. To have this kind of mind is our real wealth. Real wealth. Lord Krishna calls this success. He says, when you have this mind, it is, you have attained a success. You are successful. See, what we call success, And what Lord Krishna calls success is altogether different. For us, what goes by the name of success is what? Things happening outside. I'm getting laurels and wealth and all that. That is what success means to me. But according to Bhagavan, what is success? To have this mind, this pure mind. When this mind is there, knowledge is very close. Getting established in the self, owning up the self, the reality is very, very close. It is like, when the sponge is there, it absorbs everything. The quality of the sponge is to absorb. Similarly, when mind is so pure, poised, calm, loving, non-reacting, non-violent, honest, then it absorbs knowledge. It understands Ishvara. It sees nature, Ishvara playing everywhere, in flower, in trees, sees the intelligence of Ishvara, how things are happening. For this you require leisure of the mind. Mind has to be there to be able to appreciate this. Our mind, even when it looks at the moonlight, nothing happens. Nothing happens. Why? Come and what about it? What to see in that? Nothing to see in that. Why? Because our mind is preoccupied by other things. So, we miss something. We are missing. Reality is right before us, right here, right there, right everywhere. But where is the mind? Where is the instrument to know that? It's not available. So first prepare this instrument. First prepare this tool. That is the first level of knowledge. Then you will be able to glide into that. You have this in sports, you have this vault pole, with the help of which you put it in the ground, dig it very well, and then you take a long jump with the help of that vault pole. Then you will be able to take a long jump. Similarly, Karma Yoga is like that. With the help, when the mind is made ready, with that, now you will be able to jump or imbibe, live that reality. That is why there is no option to Karma Yoga. And for that, you need not run away. You need not become a sannyasi. Be where you are. In fact, Lord Krishna says, Karma Yogi is a sannyasi. Karma Yogi is a big yogi. How come? Because even though he is working in the world, doing his duties, but giving up every time. What is he giving up? Tell me, what is he giving up? Why should he be called a sannyasi, a renunciate? He doesn't wear orange clothes. He is not a mendicant. But still, Lord Krishna calls him a sannyasi. Why? Why should he call him a sannyasi? Why? Tell me. I want an answer from you. After having discussed this much. Why does he call? Yes? Why? No personal agenda. Sannyasis don't have, ideally. No personal agenda. And there is element of tyaga, giving up. When we came, the host here, they received us with Purna Kumbha, with a plate full of rice, and there was a pot filled with water, and there was coconut above that. That is how you receive sannyasis. And what does it indicate? What does it stand for? That you are full. You are full inside, full outside. That is what the self is. So, Karma Yogi is trying to bring that knowledge. And so, even when he is performing his duties, doing his work, he is constantly giving up, giving up, giving up. I put myself behind. I put ego behind. You first. You first. Otherwise, clashes are because of the ego only. No, I am something. You put your ego every time behind. And let others have respect. Let others have their say. Give importance, respect them. Every time you are giving up something. So sannyas, element of sannyasa is there. Understood? Plus, Lord Krishna calls him a yogi. Yogi means what? Sitting in a certain posture, doing pranayama, anuloma, viloma, then always alert. Yogi is very alert person. This karma yogi is also called a yogi. Why? Tell me why. Tell me. Yes, Urmila?
Alert to the needs of others. You're alert to the needs of others.
Yes, very alert, no? Yogi, that element of alertness, vigilance. What am I doing? What are the thoughts going on inside? You have to watch that. Plus, for that, I will have to be very alert. Otherwise, when we perform an action and it gets over, the Karma Yoga never comes into it. I began and I end and never remembered that it is to be done in the spirit of offering. We don't remember. Sometimes, when we do our prayers, Hanuman Chalisa, say whatever, we begin and end it. Our mind is not there. Then Hanumanji also wonders, when did he begin and when did he end? Mind was not there. But we mechanically do things. No, remain alert. Why? Because every time you have to watch your mind. What is going on inside? Am I giving importance to ego? Am I trying to grab? Or am I trying to give? Am I consuming or contributing? Am I loving or hating? What am I doing? Mind, because of the past habits, every time will say, take little, no problem. You can do this. Take advantage of this. As per past habits, it will do. Every time we have to be alert. Yogi has to come. No, nothing doing. Yogi is all the time chitta vritti nirodha. No thoughts. He's alert about that. You also become alert. What thoughts should not come? Of self-interest. That small self I have to remove and replace it by the big one. I have to see everywhere myself. Same Ishvara. Big work. What a sannyasis does sitting in a corner. He's all doing that, nothing but that. Seeing that reality. Going one step ahead, abiding in that reality. That we have to do here in life. Field work of that. Before what is it called? I forget the name. In military, in army also, every so often they carry out that fake thing. They fight and as if the real war is happening. They do that. Why? So that the soldiers, everybody is trained. Similarly, we have to train ourselves while we are in the world, in the midst of the world. Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, look at me, what am I doing? He says, what have I got to gain from the world? Tell me. Lord Krishna asks of Arjuna, he says, I don't have anything to gain. What do I not have? But still I am constantly working and working in the spirit of giving. Nana vaptavyam avapta. I have nothing that I have to gain. And still, constantly I am setting an example. Constantly I am giving. Why? Because people are looking at me. If I don't be a role model, then they will also not do. And so, I am constantly in life, constantly working. There is not a single dull moment in his life. Similarly, Arjuna, you are also a leader. We all are leaders to someone or the other, and we have to set an example by doing all this. As a result of this, knowledge is very close. More than knowledge, happiness. Happiness will manifest. We want nothing but happiness. That will come. That will manifest. The fountain of happiness, the fountain of joy will come out. What else do we want? We are constantly craving for that, dying for that. Constantly we want love from people, happiness from people, respect from people. What else do we need? that will come. That will come out. So, this is the essence of Karma Yoga. This is the essence. And we have to live this. We have to do it every moment. Every moment there is a choice. Two paths before us. Should I do it for myself or should I do it for others? Should I do it for ego or should I offer these actions unto Ishvara in the form of the creation? Choice is there. Now choose. If I make the right choice, my life is made. Every moment, life is made. Life is made in this choice. Once you make the correct choice, you don't go wrong. So, this is Karma Yoga. So, this is where I end. And if you have some questions, you can ask after the prayer, Shanti Mantra. Okay? Om Purnamataః Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.